So next I'll be talking about access policies for key vaults. Basically, a key vault is a repository for secrets, keys, and certificates. Certificates used by virtual machine and other resources, and then keys for authentications and all of that, security keys and all of that, and secrets. So basically, to do this, we're going to create a test key vault. You go to create, and here you specify all of the parameters, name. So that, and then when you come to access configuration, you see here you can just create role-based access control immediately. You can specify if you want the resources to have access to it. But for now, we're going to focus on the vault access policy. So once you create that, it will create a custom default policy. So we just leave it at this, review and create. Now the validation is complete and then we create. Now that the creation is complete, we go to resource and here we have access control, or you come to access policies. Now this is the access policies we currently have. So you highlight it and you click on edit. So now we have all permissions for keys, all permissions for secrets, and all permissions for certificate. And we can fine grain it depending on what our environment is, cryptographic operation, privileged key operation, you know, so much privilege certificate operations. We can fine grain it however we please. So basically, to create a custom policy, you simply come to the section that says create, and then you can either fill out what options you want, or you can choose some of the custom templates depending on what you want, keys and secrets, and automatically the system fills it out and you can unselect some options that you want and all of that. So once you create them, you can specify what principal you want to give them to, either an app, a user, depending on what you want. So you can do that here and then you will review and you create. So basically that's how to create an access policy. But the disadvantage with access policies is that when you create the access policy, it is restrictive to only one section basically, or it is giving the full access to everything. So basically, you have to create access policy for each app depending on what you need that app to have access to, and that is not always, I mean, that's a lot of work. So that is why role based access control for group policy is more advisable. So to discuss about secrets, we're going to do a test of creating, to discuss about role based access control, we're going to do a test of creating some secrets. There we go. Create. And now, when you go to role-based access control, set access configuration, and you click on role-based access control, apply, and we come back to the overview, object, secrets, refresh. Now you see that we cannot see our settings, the secrets anymore. Even though we are the owner, we created the secret, we can't see it anymore because we don't have a role yet that gives us access to see those secrets. So to assign access to this key vault, you come to access control. We currently don't have any role assignments, so you click on add role assignments. So these are the Key Vault roles assignment. Let's choose Key Vault Administrator. You can basically see the description of what you have access to do. So we select Key Vault Administrator. We go to Members, and then we select the name. So let's assign that to this. Yeah, this. And then you select. Description is optional, and then review and assign. So the role now compared to access policy, role-based access control, you can fine grain the access that you are giving to each specific secret. So basically, when you click on the secret, you have access control for that secret, and then you can create a role assignment only for that secret. So you can create contributor, vault certificate user. If you have a VM that needs certificates, you can simply create this and assign just that to the VM. And this is really good because it fine grains the access and make sure that it is only the least privileged, only the right role. That is what is given to the right service principal. Now we can, obviously, I'm going to talk about assigning licenses to users. Now this is my Microsoft Entra Admin Center. When we click on the drop down users, all users, and we click on a specific user, it is not possible, it is no longer possible to assign license to a user from the Microsoft Entra Admin Center. When we click on it, here it says licenses, and we can see at the top adding, removing, and reprocessing license assignment is only available within the Microsoft 365 Admin Center. So we go to Microsoft 365 Admin Center, we click on one of the users, and here is the drop down blade. We can see licenses and apps. So before you can assign a license to a user, you need to specify the location. When you don't specify a location, you will get an error message. Now by default, this takes the location of the domain of the tenant, but you can specify to a different location. Let's say you have a different administrative unit for a different location. You can specify it here, and then when you click on licenses, you can choose depending on the available licenses. For me, I don't have a lot of available license, so you specify what license you want to give to the user, and then under the apps you can choose which app you want to give to the user, which license you want to approve to the user, and then you save the changes. So once you save these changes, the user will be able to use all of this in the cloud environment, because this user is this user was synchronized from the on-prem Active Directory. So this user from the on-prem Active Directory, once you allocate those permission, those licenses, then he or she will have access to all of those permission.